Hello everybody, this is Gruesome Fox coming at you with a 550 cost of rated match in the buffed Gundam Mk-II, Magallanica Issued, which is a name I have pulled up on my phone, but I still don't think I am pronouncing it correctly, even while reading it. As a name I do not think I will ever pronounce correctly. But we are going to be on Impact Site for this match here, and the Magnum Mk-II, which is what I typically prefer to call this unit instead, was buffed as part of the March 2026 unit adjustments. This is a unit that kind of gave me mixed feelings when I saw it on the adjustment list here, because on one hand, I personally really like the Magnum Mk-II. It's been my go-to general for 550 ever since I initially got it, or at least just one of my favorite generals to use at the cost, and I do think it has some really nice weapons and skills, and just an overall interesting playstyle being a fake beacon unit. But on the other hand, 550 and 600 are both costs that have changed quite a lot these days, especially 600 with the introduction of the victory units and just other suits in general. So, typically with GBO2 we get a lot of suits, we get a new suit every week, so things are bound to change. So I'm not surprised to see that this unit did get an adjustment. I was more surprised to see, looking at the reference data, just how poorly this unit was performing. For pretty much everything, it was performing below the general average. The only thing that was the same was the amount of mobile suit loss. Those were relatively the same for both costs here, but the win rate, the rival win rate, and the damage dealt were all just much lower compared to the general average. So, kind of looking at that, yeah, I'm not surprised that this unit was bound for some type of adjustment. But yeah, just really a shame to see that this unit was performing so poorly. I won't really be talking about the level 2 version of the Magnum Mk-II too much in this video since I do not have that level of it. I will go over the adjustments for it since it does take up the entire unit spec portion of the adjustments here, but really past that I won't be talking about the 600 cost version too much. I'll mainly be sticking to the 550 native cost version. But without further ado, let's see what they did to buff the Magnum Mk-II. And starting off with the unit specs here, the level 2 speed has been enhanced from 130 to 135. The unit skill, Flight Control Program level 2, has been adjusted to level 3, and the level 2 unit skill Force Injector level 2 has been adjusted to a level 3. Moving on to our weapons, the range main weapon, the Beam Magnum Output Modified, had its cooldown time shortened from 6 seconds to 5.5 seconds. The reload time has been shortened from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. The focus time has been shortened from 1 second to 0.8 seconds. The stagger accumulation value has been enhanced, and the rigidity time after using the weapon has been shortened. Moving on to our sub-weapons, starting off with the shield launcher, the power has been increased from 900 to 1000, with upper levels being enhanced. The reload has been shortened from 10 seconds to 8 seconds. The projectile speed has been increased, and the ASL automatic aiming compensation range has been extended. For the Hyper Bazooka 2 Shrapnel, the power has been increased from 80 to 150 per pellet, with upper levels also being enhanced. The ammo amount has been increased from 4 to 10, and they improved the projectile grouping for this weapon. And for our final sub-weapon on the adjustment list here, the Knuckle Sealant Launcher, this had its reload time shortened from 15 seconds to 10 seconds. And that is everything we have here for the adjustment list of the Magnum Mk-II. And again, I don't have the level 2 version of this unit, so there's really not anything I could say about the specs that they changed, so really in this instance, we're primarily kind of looking at the weapons here when it comes to the adjustments, and yeah, I think overall the changes they made to the weapons were really nice. I think one of the biggest things they changed for this was the reload times for the Magnum Mk-II. You have a lot of weapons that you can't really use in between while you're waiting for your other weapons to kind of ready up or reload, so having the reduced reload time is definitely really nice, especially since the Magnum Mk-II does not have head Vulcans like the normal Mk-II has. So again, when you just have so many weapons that are like instant stuns or just slower moving weapons, you don't have a whole lot you can use in between, so I do think that was a nice call for them to reduce the reload times there. And the other big buff here is definitely for the Hyper Bazooka 2 Shrapnel, having that ammo increase from 4 to 10. That is 6 more rounds that you have at your disposal, and yeah, that is a really big jump for the unit to get here. I've heard that the reason for this may have been to counter the raid wound wart that I still cannot remember the exact name of. The last time I tried to reference this unit in my full frontal Gyaradoga video, I still cannot remember the name of it. I probably should look it up, but I feel like I say raid wound wart for 550, and I think it might be pretty self-explanatory which unit I am referring to, but yeah, I've heard that maybe it was to help kind of counter that, since you know, nothing wrong with having a pretty reliable shotgun-based weapon to stop a boosting raid, and really just kind of in general, not too bad to have a pretty decent shotgun-style weapon for any mobile suit, really. So yeah, having that increased ammo as well as the increased power behind each shot is also a really nice improvement. And really, I don't have too much else to say when it comes to the weapons here, because again, most of what they did here was either power increases or changes to the reload or some ammo changes. So really, for the most part, I think the changes to the weapons they did here were pretty nice. I think they made some pretty good calls with the adjustments they made here. I am going to be curious to see how this is going to affect the unit in the future. You know, I think they do give us the changes in specs whenever they drop a new list of adjustments. I'm not sure if they still do that. I think last time I tried to check, it didn't show the new stats that they had gotten for the prior adjustment. So I hope they kind of still do that so we can see if this unit did get some actual improvements. But from the matches that I have gotten with it, it does feel like a much better unit. And from what I've also read online as well, it does seem mostly agreed upon that the Mk-II here, the Magnum Mk-II, did have a pretty good adjustment. It did make some improvements for the unit overall. I think the biggest thing I'll be curious about is seeing how the level 2 is going to adjust, because again, that unit was performing really bad, so hopefully the level 2 in particular gets some improvements in its data there. But, you know, speaking from only having the 550 native version, yeah, I would say this is a pretty nice improvement. Again, really just looking at the weapons here, just some really nice calls with the weapon changes, and kind of just a nice improvement overall to the unit. Magnum Mk-II does already have some really good weapons and skills, so really I think just changing what they did was kind of the best call, at least at the moment. So I'd say overall pretty satisfactory adjustment here. Right now just trying to get some extra damage in before we end the match off here, mainly just trying to keep the enemy team at bay so we can keep our lead here. Trying to aim for what I think might be a Saikumo Testoga, which looks like I was able to get the assist on, so I know, always nice to get some extra points for that there. And there's Zezulu going in, I believe, after my support. Gonna get the counter on him there, which is the same counter shared with the base Mk-II. But yeah, gonna do one more tackle just to make sure I survive the last few seconds there, and that's gonna be timeout mission over. So let's see how we did here with the buffed Magnum Mk-II at 550. And yep, do got a mission complete, some good works in the side chat there. And yeah, top individual, top assist, top damage, and top in diversions. First place overall with 5 kills and 2 losses. So yeah, not too bad of a match there with the Magnum Mk-II. And that's going to be everything for the round there. And again, really not too much else to say about the adjustment here, because as I said, most of the specs were made to the level 2, nothing there was made for the level 1 variant, so everything we're looking at adjustment wise here for this video for 550 is the weapons. And like I said, I think the weapon changes they made here were all really nice. I think it was, again, a lot of good calls for a suit that, you know, really lacks Vulcans or lacks any sort of like a rapid weapon that it can use between its other weapons. So yeah, having the improved damage, improved reload times, improved ammo for the bazooka, all just overall really nice adjustments to the unit here. And that is going to be everything I have for this video. So yeah, comment down below what you think about the buffed Gundam Mk-II Magallanica Issued, which I still don't think I am pronouncing correctly. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.